G'day, ladies and gentlemen. According to Jerome Powell, the time has come for policy to adjust. Rate cuts are coming. The money printer is being warmed up. Bitcoin is pumping. The Fed says US treasuries are worthless. New report. Cathie Wood has called Bitcoin at 1.48 million. Volatility is about to increase. We're heading into Q4. Freedom of speech, though, it's under attack. Simply Bitcoin has been banned, and Pavel Durov, Telegram CEO, being arrested in France over the weekend. Welcome to G'day Bitcoin, the Bitcoin news with the fast facts. Couple of things. RFK has joined force with Trump. Elizabeth Warren gets shut down on CNBC. We have more information on Camilla's unrealized capital gains tax. We are going to dive straight into it. Now, according to Mark Moss, the financial world has been waiting for this. The time has come for policy to adjust. Jay Powell. Most importantly, everyone watching live, watching the replay, if you can do a huge favor for the team at Simply Bitcoin. These people are fighting for freedom, fighting for fair, with complete integrity. They have been removed from YouTube. It's super easy. All you need to do is go over to X, find their post. I've just reposted it right now, and tag YouTube and Team YouTube in there, and just ask for the channel back. At the moment, this is the best that we can do, but get them back. These team, absolutely amazing. We need them back on YouTube for everyone. Now, Joe Consorti. Bitcoin spikes $1,100 in 10 minutes as Fed Chair Powell confirmed his first rate cut. The time has come for the Fed to cut interest rates, he says. Risk assets, love it. Bitcoin up and to the right. And it looks like live, we may even get up to 65K. Bitcoin is pumping. We do need to hold above the $64,000 level, but diving straight into it. Fed Chair Jerome Powell, the time has come for policy to adjust. Bitcoin rose in the immediate aftermath of his remarks at the Fed's Jackson Hole conference. As expected, Jay Powell indicated that a rate cut is coming in September. Bitcoin and traditional markets, at least initially, have moved sharply higher. Investors will now focus on whether the initial rate cut will be 25 or 50 basis points. Couple of things from the article. After a long wait, central bank rates in the US now appear certain to be headed lower in September, after Jay Powell said the time has come for an easing in monetary policy. My confidence has grown that inflation is on a sustainable path. Gaslighting. Anyway, back to 2%, said Powell in his keynote address at the Kansas City Fed Jackson Hole Symposium. The labor market has cooled considerably from its formerly overheated state. Was the labor market ever overheated, or were they just making up jobs and they need to revise them like 880,000 last week? He continued, we do not seek or welcome further cooling in labour market conditions. Time has come for policy to adjust, added Powell. The direction of travel is clear, and the time and pace of rate cuts will depend on incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. Though markets fully expect Powell to indicate that a rate cut was coming at the Fed's September meeting, the tone of his remarks likely leaned a bit more dovish than anticipated. In the minutes following the release of his speech, Bitcoin had more than 1% to 61,900. And if we go over to the price here, we're at 64,515. Bitcoin's absolutely loving it. Risk assets, game on. Volatility is back. This is when it gets exciting again. Up, down, or sideways, I don't care. But the sideways, I do care. It's been going on for so long. Up or down is what I'm chasing. But the question going forward will be if the Fed cuts the Fed funds rate by 25 or 50 basis points mid-September. Markets continue to lean towards 25 basis points. But the chance of 50 basis point move have grown to 32%, up from 24% a day previous. What this means, lower real interest rates tend to weigh on the value of the dollar and can support assets that compete with the dollar like gold and Bitcoin, said Zach Pandal, head of research at Grayscale. The combination of Fed rate cuts and proven US political sentiment around crypto net inflows into US crypto ETFs should support Bitcoin's price to return to all-time highs in the coming months. Hopefully you've been buying, stacking, and chilling, because when Bitcoin moves, it moves pretty quick and starts ripping faces. Shout out to everyone watching live. Habib Gargoyle, there in the live chat. Everyone watching the replay, leave a comment. I will get back to everyone. What a glorious day to be here in Bitcoin. Balaji, now they're admitting it. US Treasuries are the new toxic waste. This is Reuters. US Treasury is not the safe bet they once were, research says. So going back to March 13, 2023, Banks are failing because they bought treasuries, full stop. The safest asset in the world is the riskiest asset in the world. Unrealized gains on investment securities. It isn't so much what they said, it's where it's being said and by whom. This was at the Fed's annual conference and it's published in Reuters, so it's finally being acknowledged. Many knew this for years, but now the party is admitting it. They're admitting investors' behavior has shifted, that US Treasuries are no longer a safe haven, that exorbitant privilege is going away. So things may get gnarly. It's pretty insane what they wrote. Jackson Hole, Wyoming, August 3rd, August 23, 2024, Reuters. No safer than a bund or a gilt or an oat. Long-touted hands down the world's safe haven security, the behavior of US Treasuries during and after the COVID-19 pandemic calls that label into question, suggesting they're a little different from the debt issued by the likes of Germany, Britain, France, or even big corporations. That's the key find in new research presented at the Kansas City Fed's annual research conference in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It examines a shift in investor behavior in that period that raises questions about the exorbitant privilege the US government has long enjoyed to borrow broadly on the global market, even as federal budget gaps grow even wider. So they found that investors did not, as they had during previous episodes of global financial stress, pile into treasuries. People are waking up to Bitcoin, the world is healing, and drive up their value. Instead, investors mark down treasury securities much as they did for bonds from other countries. All fiat currency is failing. I want you to end the Fed. That is a repost by Tony from the Bitcoin Way. And this is how Bitcoin responds. Green on the day. Let's hope I didn't skip one. No, Kathy Wood does think Bitcoin's going to $1.48 million in 2030. That's the bull case. Base case, 682,800. 10x from here. TikTok, next block of 2030, the bear case, $260,000. Not bad. Base case, bear case, bull case. I'm happy with all of it. The lower it stays, the longer it stays, the better for everyone. But we are getting a bit of a pump, and when Bitcoin moves, it moves pretty quick. Checkmate, chop, capitulation, waiting to buy back lower, but missing it is psychologically more difficult for people to deal with than taking a loss. Pain to the upside is a real thing. So this is a post by Tao. This price movement is scaring me. Do I get back in now, stick to my guns and wait for 50K? I don't have any Bitcoin right now. That's the trouble with trying to time the top and bottom. When Bitcoin moves, it moves pretty quick, and it's all over Red Rover for the people that are trying to time it. And Bitcoin does the unexpected, which it's going to continue to do. Just keep that in mind. Money printing. Update. US, China, India, Japan, the EU are printing. The US are printing 31.5 billion in September. Japan are printing 8 billion in August. September is unreported yet. Here are the US and Japanese money printing programs running currently. I will repost this. Manually edited, collateralized loans globally, including in Japan. Financial institutions might offer loans denominated in dollars where collateral is required. This collateral could be in various forms, including securities, real estate, or other assets. However, these are typically not publicized as a specific program unless they involve central bank operations or significant regulatory changes. The swap agreements. The mention of Bank of Japan operations include obtaining funds under the US dollar-yen swap agreement with the Federal Reserve. This isn't directly loans, but facilitates banks in Japan to access dollar liquidity and could indirectly support lending or collateralized operations in dollars. I will repost that. Their comments have been turned off, but check out those two articles referenced. Now, freedom of speech, it's under attack. For everyone tuning in, please repost Simply Bitcoin. What's going on there? Them being banned on YouTube. Absolutely insane. A voice being taken out of the space. All you need to do is go on X, repost, tag Team YouTube on there. Get their channel back. Please, something real small, something simple that you can do. Freedom of speech is under attack everywhere. Right at the end of this video, we are going to show the other side of this, maybe the darker side of Telegram. But Balaji, Telegram founder Pavel Durov arrested in France. This crime appears to be enabling free speech online. CEO arrested. Telegram founder and billionaire Russian exile Pavel Durov arrested at French airport after stepping off his private jet. Ian here. The man behind Telegram has been arrested by the French authorities simply by refusing to bow down to their censorship demands. They're throwing the book at him with trumped up charges like terrorism, drug trafficking, and even pedophile content, all because he stood for free speech. It's interesting that it's always these three things. This is nothing but a witch hunt, an attempt to clamp down on the last bastions of free communication. They're terrified of the truth getting out, so they label everything they can't control as terrorism or hate speech. In the EU's latest move to strangle our right to speak freely, to share information without their Orwellian oversight. They're after him because Telegram doesn't bend the knee to their native control. This is about silencing dissent and controlling information. They want to turn the internet into another arm of their propaganda machine. We're watching freedom of speech being attacked right before our eyes. Make no mistake, they're using this to set a precedent which they will then use to go after Elon Musk and X. Don't disagree with that. Telegram founder Pavel arrested. What we know so far, couple of things just from Cointelegraph. Telegram founder CEO was detained by French authorities in relation to a search warrant targeting alleged violations of the encrypted messaging platform, according to Le Monde and other French media outlets. Jirov was arrested at Le Bourget airport north of Paris after landing his private jet, which had travelled from Azerbaijan. The AFP reported that the alleged offence range from fraud, drug trafficking, cyberbullying, and organised crime. Numerous reports note that the investigation is rooted in Telegram's alleged lack of content moderation. Shouldn't be going after the people that are doing harm, not the person that's just provided a platform. Anyway, the messaging platform CEO was reportedly expected to appear in court August 25. Some reports claim that Jirov could face up to 20 years in prison due to the nature of the alleged offences. Insane. As a community committed to freedom of speech and decentralization, we stand firmly by Pavel during this challenging time. Elon Musk chiming in, Balaji chiming in. They're even Vitalik RFK. The US wanted to control Telegram. That Tucker Carlson interview, I highly suggest everyone watch it. It is really, really good. Between Pavel and Tucker, incredible. It's a must watch for everyone. But Jirov claims that Telegram had garnered unwanted attention by the FBI and other US security agencies whenever he had to enter the country. There was an attempt by cybersecurity officers, the backdoor deal's insane, or agents to secretly hire my engineer behind my back. They were curious to learn which open source libraries are integrated into Telegram's app, and they tried to persuade him to use certain open source tools that would serve as a backdoor, Jirov told Carlson. Crazy. Make a good book. Graphene OS claimed that Telegram has full access to the content of group chat's direct messages. There's something to keep in mind due to a lack of end-to-end encryption. The post claims Telegram's secret chat features use homegrown end-to-end encryption with weakness, and then deleting content from the app may not remove all traces of the messages. Graphene OS added that Telegram could potentially provide individual and group messages to authorities in France. Something to keep in mind. Rumble CEO flees Europe after Pavel Jirov's arrest. People are waking up there, taking advantage of a Plan B citizenship. Chris, I'm a little late to this, but for good reason. I've just safely departed from Europe. France has threatened Rumble, and now they've crossed the red line by arresting Telegram's CEO, Pavel, reportedly for not censoring speech. Rumble will not stand for this behaviour and will use every legal means available to fight for freedom of expression, a universal human right. We are currently fighting in the courts of France, and we hope for Pavel's immediate release. Absolutely insane. Elon Musk must be next, eh? Matter of time. Central Post, so we're just going to touch on this really briefly. Two things as a really good read. I reposted it yesterday and recommend everyone read it. But the journey started with economic policies that seemed to promise fairness. This is how it all begins. The idea was simple. Control the means of production for the benefit of all. But as history has shown, this control often morphs into something more sinister. Whether it's for the proletariat or for the purity of the nation, the outcome is the same. The state's grip tightens and individual freedoms wane. On platforms like X, I've seen the discussions, the fears, and the warnings. From the handling of health crisis to the manipulation of cultural issues, there's a growing unease about where we're headed, and we're moving towards a future where freedom of speech The right to protest and the ability to live without state intrusion are just memories. I truly hope you have Bitcoin in self-custody, you're protecting it, doing all the right things, and looking maybe at a plan B. Citizenship. It's amazing how it is going on absolutely everywhere in the world. If you need help, channel partner, The Bitcoin Way, Tony and the team, absolutely amazing. I was talking to Tony yesterday afternoon, wanted to have a brief chat, get some clarity around a couple of things. 25 years cybersecurity experience. I think most important is getting a residency in a freedom-friendly jurisdiction. It's insanely cheap, actually, to be able to just have that cool option on the future for your freedom. But steps number 1 and 2, you need to secure the money. If you need any help, the first 30 minutes is free. Reach out to the team. They can guide you. They can hold your hand. They can educate, teach you how to be able to be a sovereign individual and not be subject so much to the tyranny. Yes, you may get censored. Your channel may get shut down. Your voice may get shut down. But it's the money that they come after. Protect the money at all costs. We have that opportunity. We have those tools now. Please make the most of it. That's the power of Bitcoin. Is the dystopian agenda that's going on, the tyranny, the totalitarianism, the nihilism, you can just opt out. You don't need to be subject to it anymore. Of course, it's still going to affect us in certain ways, but you can really remove yourself. Now, everyone's fed up with Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, but I thought it was well worth playing this morning. And shout out to everyone watching live or watching the replay. If you haven't already, and we vibe, hit subscribe. We are in the makeshift studio. We'll be moving back in, hopefully, by the end of the week to the proper studio. Just so you know, Elizabeth Warren, there you go.
And that is a time
that's sophistry. Your example on craft. Your example on craft is even worse.
You finished first. In any of the states around the country that already have price gouging laws in place.
Can I tell you why that those are fallacious and misleading at best? And your craft analogy is even. Why can't I tell you? Please let me tell you. Craft, you say, was 440% profit increase. The example you used, the prior quarter from the year before, they had a charge of $1.3 billion, an accounting change which wiped out profits. Then they earned what they normally. Let me finish now. They earned.
You didn't let me finish. Look at the data. Come on. We have economic study now after economic study.
This is the way it always goes.
When there is more concentration,
40 million eggs were destroyed because of avian flu.
When there is more concentration in an industry, we have seen much greater increases in
Do you attribute the inflation?
Markets.
That's what you think we need to do to solve it?
They're not random. They are not random one-offs. It is part of the problem when you've got companies that are gouging consumers on prices. Consumers need to know they've got somebody on their side.
Senator,
and
listen, we're trying to help. We're trying to actually do.
Where are you in the 37 states that currently have price gouging laws?
Just quickly on that point, Senator Warren, can you, this is Kelly here, can I just clarify how this would work?
This is the way you never lose an argument, because no one... Senator.
Isn't that absolutely amazing? Well done on pushing back. This lady is an absolute tyrant, complete gaslight. She says she's there for the little people. She is Jamie Dimon's spokesperson. She's a made woman. It's absolutely insane, but well done. A little bit of pushback. For everyone that's been here for a little while, the last 6 months, we've gone sideways. It is there to stir people up, to shake people up. The world is healing, pushing back. Bitcoin's starting to move in the direction everyone wants. I like it more when it's red, but hey, I'm happy with $64,482 today. But Sunny Po, I've gone through 2 500-day markets, crab markets in Bitcoin now, and this one is only about 177 days. This symmetry, these periods are meant for furious stacking. The non-volatility is a gift. You are in a window of time where you don't have to fear that it will rocket away from you. Bitcoin statistically, spends more time staying flat to down than it does running away from you. The house odds are in your favor for stacking every cycle. You have to embrace the down flat periods, like Oliver Valise says. That's where you load for the future and position yourself for the large move ahead. TikTok, next block. Ladies and gentlemen, it is coming. Camilla Harris supports tax on unrealized capital gains. Maybe this way we're pumping a flight to safety, a flight to quality. Taxing something you've not even realized is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Carl B. Manger, just really quickly, 2 things out of there. Camilla Harris supports tax on unrealized capital gains. What it means for wealthy households, what it means is there's going to be a massive brain drain. If this happens, people are just going to opt out and leave. They are in a capacity to be able to do that, these high net worth individuals. And the good thing is it's actually not that hard. If you're curious about moving out, talk to the Bitcoin Way. The team can help you and it's pretty cheap. But Biden and Harris now have proposed levying an annual tax on the static wealth of households worth more than $100 million. Specifically, households worth more than $100 million would pay an annual minimum tax worth 25% of their combined income and unrealized capital gains. This is known as a wealth tax, and the goal is to tax wealthy households that increasingly avoid taxation by living off unsold and unrealized assets. However, unrealized capital gains means that an asset has not been sold, and thus the price has not been locked in for the benefit of the asset holder. This means that taxes must be paid on value that is never received by the holder, ultimately disincentivizing long-term investment by wealthy households, or they're just going to leave. They're just going to get out of there and be like, stuff your fiat games, I'm done, I'm out, I'm going all in Bitcoin. And that is going to happen. Otherwise, it's just going to be a brain drain. This is very unpopular, but they say tax the rich. Everyone wants to tax the rich. These people, maybe percentage-wise, they pay low taxes, like instead of our tax, but overall they pay more dollar terms in taxes. But regardless of it, starting at the rich, and they can just bring it down more and more and more, 100 million, then it comes down 10 million, 1 million, and here in Australia talking about unrealized capital gains on your superannuation if it's over $3 million. It's coming everywhere and they'll just pull it down further and further and further. It's socialism. It's another form of communism. It's absolutely insane. It's happening in many places around the world because the dollar is failing. And when Samson Mow talks, people push back about his Omega candle, Bitcoin being at $1 million, Kathy Wood 1.48 by 2038 as the bull case. But Samson Mow, someone was criticizing me on Nostr, probably on my fast $1 million prediction. I wonder what they think a ridiculous dollar price is exactly. Let's assume Bitcoin did go to 1 million. Interest payments in the US debt will reach 1 trillion next year. That's 1 million Bitcoin if Bitcoin was at 1 million. Debt is 35 trillion and unfunded liabilities at 218 trillion. That's a total of 253 million Bitcoin if Bitcoin was at 1 million, 12x the total supply of Bitcoin. Inflation is probably at 10% to 150% in real terms. All of these numbers are ridiculous when priced in Bitcoin at 1 million. Do people really think the broken fiat system will keep plodding along forever? It seems more likely we see a break and Bitcoin goes up very rapidly in a short time frame. Please keep in mind, Bitcoin moves about 10, 11 days a year. It makes most of its gains. So I agree with that. There's no such thing as a ridiculous fiat price. What's ridiculous that Bitcoin still even has a fiat price, and that will end sooner rather than later. But you, on the other hand, again and again are promoting insane and high preference thinking when prognosticating ridiculous dollar price in a very short time perspective. You may be directionally correct, but you have hurt your credibility a lot the last couple of years. Regarding that, putting a time frame on Bitcoin price, they shouldn't go together. $0 or $1 million over what time frame? I don't know. I feel like it's coming. And if history repeats, it doesn't always repeat, but often it rhymes, we will get there over time. It's where the chart, it's where everything points up and to the right. It's a little bit of patience and we will look back, wake up one day and Bitcoin will be at 100K and be like, ah, man, I should have gone harder at 64.5. And then from 1 million to 250, 600,000, it will keep going up. We're going to have pullbacks. We're going to have days where it drops $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. But it's where we get to be able to stack. The market gets to cool off, reset, and then we can move higher. Whether that takes 4 years, 8 years, 10 years, 20 years, does it really matter? The higher the Bitcoin price goes, the faster, the quicker the US dollar system is failing. And we're being warned that there are a couple of things. And when I was talking to Tony yesterday, there is the possibility that very soon You can't buy Bitcoin with fiat and hold it in self-custody. Maybe that doesn't happen. But if it was to happen tomorrow, have you gotten enough Bitcoin to hold for the rest of your life? Maybe think on that. That's the way I approach it. And the answer for me is no. No, I don't. British HODL. Yesterday, the American ETFs, they acquired 4,000 Bitcoin in a single day. That's an inflow of roughly $240 million. The reason I bring this up is because Wall Street is taking the Bitcoin away from you. They're keeping it in the ETFs. It's an IOU on Bitcoin. It's not real Bitcoin for the people holding it. It's not the freedom, sovereign technology that Bitcoin allows. Don't let them get all of it, please. And the market cap of Bitcoin increased by roughly 77.7 billion in a single day. Multiplier of 323 to 1. Still believe the bull market multiplier is dead. Leave that one with you. Now, this is where I started this morning, 64.2. We are up to 64.47, up and to the right. One thing you might find pretty interesting is when Jay Powell started speaking, just bang. It happened, but coming back to the 24-hour chart, we're pretty much at all-time highs in the last 24 hours for the 24-hour period, not overall. We need to break above 74, but 64,534. And we could break all-time highs in a day, in a week, in a month, slowly, then suddenly. Doesn't take much. We had a $10,000 move 2 weeks ago. There's no reason we can't get another one and go straight to 64K. Like I was saying last week and for quite a while, we do need a hold above 64K, keep it a nice base case, and then move off to 68 first before we can go higher, obviously, but just stay there for a while, not just break through and then come back down and not get back up again. But I look forward to seeing how it plays out. In the meantime, just buying, stack, and chilling. It's still cheap, but real tight price range. The low 63,600, a higher 64.5, $900 price move, which is nice and healthy for Bitcoin to be here for a couple of days. If we can get a couple more days as well, it turns it into a very strong level of support. I thought this is a good mindset, and I strongly believe in this, and I've been saying this in a similar way very recently, but Usain Bolt trained for 4 years without giving up to run 9 seconds. All I'm encouraging you to do is DCA, dollar cost average, into Bitcoin for 4 years without selling to be set for the next era of your life. It's very wise advice. Please just study Bitcoin and find out why that's a very good idea. Not trying to time the tops or bottoms, just getting as much as you can, providing value to be able to get more Bitcoin for 4 solid years and enjoy the next era of your life. Shout out to Usain Bolt. Shout out to Oliver. Checkmate. This is not what an over-leveraged, long-biased, degenerate Bitcoin market looks like. The reason why I bring this up is because when Bitcoin pumps, people are waiting for a pullback. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, but the market is very healthy at, I don't know, you could call them elevated, you could call them suppressed prices. Bitcoin's highly undervalued, but the funding rate, when that goes up, that's maybe when we're looking towards the top, but there's nothing going on at the moment. Unless you mainly own Bitcoin within 5 years, both your job and your assets are at risk. With Bitcoin, it's just your job. If you're stacking for the next 4-5 years and your job becomes obsolete, doesn't matter, you've got FU money anyway, and it's all gravy, baby. But definitely something to be able to keep in mind. PSA, Bitcoin miner, Rhodium files for Chapter 11 in the Texas Southern Bankruptcy Court. People investing in Bitcoin miners instead of just Bitcoin. Maybe you get lucky, maybe you don't. It is a leveraged play and it can have outsized returns, but just realize it's not Bitcoin and there is counterparty risk when dealing with any business, Bitcoin only or not. Peter Schiff diving in. He's been pretty quiet on Bitcoin lately. I think probably because it's red. Check that out, 64,444. Let's get it. It's a lucky day to be here, everyone. The Fed was wrong that inflation was transitory, and it's wrong that it's now headed back to 2%. The Fed is about to cut rates under the pretense that it won the inflation war. The real reason is an attempt to mitigate the collateral damage. Inflation will soon run away. That means a melt up. That means Bitcoin is going much higher. So house going much higher. Gold's going to go much higher. Silver's going to go much higher. Real estate, fine art, fine wine, all of it's going much higher. Bitcoin is the fastest horse in the race. My belief is Bitcoin goes up higher, quicker, faster than all of that. And I don't really care. I just want to be able to have as much as possible. I prefer that it didn't, but it looks like that's the way of things. Fiat, it's dying forever, for the rest of your lives, for however long you've got left until you retire. If you're saving in dollars, you're stuck. For so many people that are getting close to retirement age, say they're 65, 67, and they've got a couple of years to get a couple of $100,000. At the rate of inflation, what is it really? 7, 10% for most things, maybe a little bit higher, double-digit percentage return inflation here. That's just destroying your purchasing power. Maybe it slows down, but it's not going away. And even if they have periods where inflation is at zero, they're just going to print more money. They love inflation. They want to be able to steal from you and opt out. So I guess where I'm getting at is if you're getting close to retirement or you're ages away, saving in worthless fiat currency is a very quick way to be able to destroy your purchasing power and end up destitute at whatever stage. Fiat currency, it's not money, it's not a store of value. It hasn't been since 1971. It's not going to magically heal itself. Inflation, it's not transitory. It's not going away. The debt spiral, the dollar collapsing. Maybe it takes 10 years. Maybe it takes 20 years. Maybe they can push it on indefinitely for 50 years. Well, I highly doubt it. Even if they do, if they keep it alive on life support, the value of it, it's gone. It's already gone. It's just paper. It's going the way of Venezuela, the Lebanese pound. And then at the end of the day, all you need to do is just hold Bitcoin. It's been profitable for 96% of its history. Even if you bought at the top, 74K. If you've been DCAing in, your cost base is probably lower than what it is now, and you're in profit. Or if you haven't been DCAing in, you don't have long. Just one day you'll wake up, and then one day you'll be 100% in profit over time. We just need to zoom out a little bit. But shout out to everyone that is tuning in. Let us know where you're tuning in from this morning. And are you stacking? It's harder for me. It's harder to bloody hit the green button, but I'll see what I can do about it today or tomorrow. I just prefer it when it's red. Let us know what your thoughts are. Do you like the red or the green, or there's the grey where it's sideways? The sideways drives me crazy. I'd rather there's a little bit of excitement. Things going on. Breaking. The Fed, the dollar. No, money market funds climbed to an all-time high, 6.24 trillion, which is 5x the Bitcoin market cap. So as soon as interest rates are lowered again, this pent-up liquidity will come onto the market. Be prepared. Something to keep in mind there. Let's go. Block height, 858,437. This thing, it just keeps working. It is a well-oiled machine. Bitcoin, it's just the greatest invention. It's very similar to fire, but the exchange rate 64.5. Sats per USD, we have dropped under 1,600. We were there all last week. Hopefully you made the most of it. Maybe we get it back. Hopefully we get it back. I hope we get it back, but maybe we don't get it back, and now we're down to 1,550 sats per dirty fiat dollars. Now, the market cap, 1.27 trillion. It's moving. Remember, this was at like 1.2 for so long, and it's just going to keep climbing. The last block mined 50 seconds ago. It's just working. 9 minutes 36, 64 blocks too fast. 9 minutes, is it 9 minutes 36 or 9 minutes 46, the average block time over Bitcoin's history? It's pretty close to the 10-minute 10-minute target. The hash rate has come down 1.6% over the last 24 hours, but 642.4 exahashes. How cool. Public reachable nodes, 19,600. And just in total transparency, my node is not plugged in while I redo the studio. It's a pain. But if I buy any Bitcoin, I won't be sending it to my wallet until that is plugged in to be your own Swiss bank account. But please run a node. They're fun, they're cheap, they're easy, and allows you to be sovereign. And add to this number. Let's get up to 20,000 public reachable nodes. Time chain since Genesis. There we go. 9 minutes 35. Average block time, 9 minutes 36. So we're pretty much exactly on average. How cool. This is pretty big news. Politics, they're not going to save anyone. Don't think that. But it's fun, it's entertainment, and Trump is way better than having Camilla and the deep state back into the House. So I'll leave that with you with that. They're not coming to save you. You can only save yourself. You can opt out. Maybe these people leave us alone for the next 4 years a whole lot more than what Camilla will. And I think that is the case. But crypto-friendly RFK join up with Trump. He drops out of the White House hunt, will lead Kennedy name, will lend the Kennedy name to Trump. Family is totally, absolutely hates this. They put out this, it was absolutely insane. It's not in this article, but they just really berated him and his choices for doing this. Robert Kennedy, a high-profile fan of digital assets, truly understands Bitcoin. He's put in the proof of work. He's based, he eats steak. He's ripped as. The guy is just walking embodiment of proof of work. I don't agree with everything. I respect him for who he is and with everyone in the world. That's why freedom of speech is so important. We don't need to agree with anyone, and we shouldn't. We should never trust. We should verify. But having open discourse, it allows us to challenge our own beliefs to be able to grow as a society. He's a huge advocate for that, but he's given Donald Trump an immediate bump in the political prediction market. I like how he speaks about Bitcoin. I think this will be a good ear or a good mouthpiece to have in Trump's ear. Kennedy said he's joined the campaign potential second administration of Trump, with whom he says he hopes to work on a number of issues that have been central to RFK Jr.'s public life. So RFK Jr. has suspended his independent pursuit of the US presidency. I love what he says. And encourages supporters to instead back former President Donald Trump in battleground states, putting the weight of the Kennedy name behind the GOP candidate. I no longer believe that I have a realistic path to electoral victory in the face of this relentless, systematic censorship and media control. Our polling consistently showed by staying on the ballot in the battleground states, I'd likely hand the election over to the Democrats with whom I disagree on existential issues. Sorry, we're not finished with this yet. Couple of things that he said. Even as Kennedy is putting his weight behind Trump, the former president this week shifted his attention from the campaign to promote a new family business in crypto, decentralized finance platform they're calling the Defiant Ones. Is it a money grab? I don't know. There's further details that remain scant. We'll find out. Is it going to be a net benefit? I don't know. Is it just going to be something else that blows up? I don't know. I'm biased. I'd prefer. He just talked about Bitcoin, your right to self-custody, instead of putting things out into the space. People are going to get in. Obviously, people will. Not obviously. Maybe it's set up so nobody ever loses any money, but we'll see what comes out with that DeFi platform, the Defiant Ones. But Trump has been a long-time crypto skeptic. He began making millions on the release of branded NFTs after he lost the White House and has most recently come out as a digital asset booster, a shiller. Meanwhile, Harris' views on crypto remain unknown. Her campaign hasn't revealed any major policy positions, though an aide this week said Harris will support policies that ensure that emerging technologies and that sort of industry can continue to grow. I don't know. I don't think they're going to do anything favorable, the Harris team. But what are your thoughts in regards to that? Now, as said earlier, I'd bring up the other side of what's happening with Telegram, with Jirov. I don't know enough to be able to agree or disagree, but this is free speech. This is about having Discord seeing both sides of the argument. So while the guy has been a bastion, he's been promoting free speech with Telegram and fighting for fair, maybe this is a different way to be able to look at it. These are not my words as Zuko. I truly don't understand. But look, I really hate speculating about the spy versus spy BS, but it is really bothering me to see the great and the good of my tribe, Balaji, Vitalik, Roman, Noel, Josh, Treaton, Pavel as an oppressed hero. Please consider the following facts. Telegram, it's built on lies. Its entire brand is freedom, yet it is deliberately architected to make all its users subject to the surveillance and control of Jirov while keeping those users in the dark about that. It's not that gender arms managed to nab their man. Jirov deliberately flew directly to France where he knew there was no arrest warrant out for him. That's pretty interesting. This article gives good reason to believe that Durov struck a deal with Putin in June 2020 to hand over some of Telegram's users to Putin's goons. I will repost this for everyone. So look, I hate censorship as much or more than you do, but when I see you leap into Durov's defense, I think you're getting played. That isn't what is going here. There's some spy versus spy BS. Telegram isn't censorship-resistant platform like Signal or Zcash. It's a weapon, because tricking people into thinking they have privacy while you spy upon them is taking power over them, power that nation states will then want. There are other pattern matching the same way like Elon Musk and RFK Jr., but I don't know those guys personally, and I assume they don't know the difference between can't surveil censor and won't surveil censor, but the people in my tribe should know better. I will repost that at Sean Clark 911, and if anyone reposts this video that's live or the replay over on X, I will follow you as well. That's news with the fast facts. Bitcoin is at 64,666. Volatility between now and September. If we get that rate cut, we may get a bit of a pullback. These opportunities are a gift. The suppressed price of Bitcoin, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to last long. Where we go this cycle, I have absolutely no idea. Where Bitcoin goes eventually, $0 or $1 million, my belief is we're not going to $0. Personally, I won't allow that to happen. I think many people watching won't as well. Be here for a long time and for a good time. It's such a blessing. Fight for fair. Make sure you are putting your seed on steel like that. Or these ones are cheap, protected at all costs. Run your own node. It's super easy. Opt out of the totalitarianism. Defund the Fed. It's Tony from the Bitcoin Way says, I want you to end the Fed. Peacefully, we can just opt out. Please get Simply Bitcoin back. Repost them over on X. Hit up YouTube to do it. It's unjust, it's unfair. I understand these algorithms go through and they grab things, they hear certain keywords and do it, but somebody needs to go back and reverse something that is not acceptable to be able to happen. Free speech is under attack. I'm going to have a real quick banter and then get out of here. I am putting the roof up in the studio today, so it'll be a big day. Habib in the house. Gargoyle, good to see you. Rex, price prediction for Casper this bull run. Thanks, bro. I'm not interested. I understand quite a few Bitcoiners are into Casper. I know zero about it. I know that it's not Bitcoin, so I'm not interested. I believe it runs on proof of work, and I have zero interest in it whatsoever. And please don't ask for price predictions on altcoins. Maybe I need I'm just not interested, so I'm not going to look into it. Vinny, good to see you this morning. Michael, good to see you. Socialism, in other words, is where we're heading, not a good place to be. No, and you can just see what's sort of happening in Australia, happening in Canada with freedom of speech, happening in the UK at the moment. Socialism is sold to us in such flowery terms, and it's loads of codswallop. E-Boot in the house. Just saw you with Mr. M. Great interview. Mauricio interviewed me, did a podcast. Is really weird being on the other side of the microphone. Is very professional. Really enjoyed my time there. I haven't listened to it. Watched it. The thumbnail photo is absolutely horrific of me. I don't know where he got it from, but if you're interested, check that out. I did repost that this morning as well. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully I kept the signal strong. We're looking bullish, but wait until after the US election. Japan raised interest rates and the market ships the bed again. Do you reckon Japan is going to be brave enough to do what they did? Like, the world economy nearly just crashed. As panic mode is pretty insane. I don't know. The whole fiat system is so fragile. It just takes one country to think they're doing the right thing and for everything to go to hell. And people trust their lives. They work their whole lives to support that system of theft. Yeah, I don't know. I don't, hopefully they don't do it. But we'll see. I just hopefully more people have Bitcoin in that case. We are looking bullish again. And well, actually, I hope they get it. Hopefully they crash Bitcoin to 48K or even 58K. Where is the 58K gang? You have stuffed up. Bring it back. McLovin, good to see you. Don't bend the knee, legends. Hodl, run a node, be your own bank, be sovereign, read the books, don't eat the bugs, don't be subject to CBDCs, digital IDs, fucking chips in your head. Just opt out all of it. Drink spring water. Fluoride's absolutely poisonous. Just the tap water. Sydney has got high concentrations of some toxin in it. It's crazy. Being attacked on every angle. But we can opt out. Don't let them steal from you with your time. You give them your time, they give you that worthless fiat. No more. I think Elon is beyond caring what these cretins do. Yeah, it's so hard to know if he's like a psyop or not, and if we're all just feel like we have freedom of speech, and then it's all there on X. I don't know. Does it really matter? Isn't it insane? Like, we can't just say what we think or we believe, and especially trying out new ideas. You want to put them out there. You want to get feedback. You want to be able to refine and let the conversation advance. But yeah, I don't think Elon Musk cares. But sometimes I question, is this just too good to be true? I don't know. I do not know. On CNBC too, someone isn't popular anymore. So Harris wants the stock market to crash. What I think about that is, like, all these politicians, their net worth, it's all in stocks. So is it just like a talking thing? Like, yes, we're looking after the little guy, these evil rich people, but they are the evil rich people. I don't know. Are they really going to do it to themselves? I don't know. Maybe they've got ways around it. Maybe they've already opted out. Warren Buffett trying to get us to eat Z-bugs. Just so ungenuine. And it's sad for the population. Big week ahead, I feel in my bones. Yeah, if we can hold here for 1 or 2 days and then pump above 68K, I think it's like we are just going to wake up one day and it'll be at 100K. I don't know when that day will be. High possibility by the end of the year, higher possibility early next year. But eventually we're going to get there. Like, bummer. You remember 64K? Great times. And it has been being here with everyone. There's more of us than the rich, so we know who's going to get shafted. Stack in mind, stack and chill. Great to see you, channel audience, Grant, Sean, Perth, JC. Good to see you in the house, my man. Hopefully you're doing well. G'day, mate. Belize Hoddle. Young Kings. I love that name. Young Kings. Let's go. Gary S. And good morning, future kings and queens. The new financial elite. If you're really putting in the proof of work, reading the books, not eating the bugs, going as hard as you can for 4 years, like Oliver says, for a full cycle, doing everything you possibly can. Well done. The people that are going to change the world, to be able to create good in the world, to be able to bring joy, fairness, truth back in to the world. It's amazing. The power of Bitcoin, the power of you putting the proof of work. Tubin in Melbourne, Jordan Ditloff. Shout out to Jordan Ditloff. I'll actually be in Melbourne, I don't know, later this month or early next month or whatever. I wouldn't mind catching up with Jordan Ditloff. So that's that senator from the Libertarian Party that I had on the show. I saw him post about Bitcoin. I had him on the show and he hadn't bought Bitcoin at that stage. I urged him to read the book, Spears for Bitcoin, to start off with. It's a great book to be able to read. I don't have a copy. I gave it away to the house sitter, but co-authored with Seb Bunny, who's the author of The Hidden Cost of Money. And he has Bitcoin now. Is looking at hardware wallets. It doesn't take long. Putting the proof of work. They're going to put out a policy statement, I guess, in regards to Bitcoin, is my belief that they're really learning about it. I'd like to catch up with him when I'm in Melbourne. If you would be interested in me doing a podcast, if I've got the capacity to do that, let us know, and I'll see if I can sort that out. But shout out to N and Mitty for joining live. We are pumping. Yeah, I think very likely we go to, I don't know, 65, even 66K today. Okinawa, Japan. I'd love to go to Japan. I want to go snowboarding there. Love the channel growth, bro. Keep up the great work. Psychometric Records. Wow, there's some epic names in the chat. Matthew J in the house. Matthew J. What would you say a Z hash is? What's the Z stand for? Like Zeta? 2024. Let's go. Great time to consolidate UTXOs. 100% it is. Do we have this up? It's like 4 the other day. Sats per VByte. It's still 4. If you need to do some UTXO management, do it. Consolidate your Bitcoin while it's cheap. It will get very expensive. But check out that 64,444. We got that price back as well. Definitely a time to be able to do it. 0.06 M per Bitcoin. It is so cheap. 100% it is. Smash the like. Be grateful if you can. I assume you're also a Banksy fan. Very much so. And that there, it took like, I don't know, 6 months for the printer shop to be able to do it, to be able to get it cut out. It's the artwork from Street Cyber. He's got all those stickers. I can't wait to get his book. I think you can see it there, the Hope poster. Things are just getting them off the floor while we are in here. But yeah, how cool. I'm just not sure whether to put LED lights or something behind it. He's hanging up because he's made out of this metal thing. I don't want to bend him. But he's pretty cool, hey? And yes, Banksy, the work. I think like most new age art is just fiat rubbish, but Banksy puts out some pretty epic stuff. Yeah, Simply Bitcoin did get banned. Please just go onto X, repost, tag YouTube in there, and just do it every day or every couple of days until they're back. If there's anything further that we can do to help them get them back, if I hear anything or if you hear anything, let me know or I'll let you know. Need it back. Bitcoin is just a freedom tool. Do the right thing. Be sovereign. If you sell it, pay your taxes. Nobody's talking about tax evasion. That's irresponsible. They will come after you. But it's money that cannot be censored, can be controlled, and you become that person at the same time. But please, anything we can do to get them back, it's absolute insanity. Yemen in the house, Nikon Opti, probably because Rustin, don't know, keep hodling. It doesn't really matter what it's for. People may not disagree with them. People may not agree with their messaging, but that's the thing. Like this cancel culture, the insanity that goes around by just not being able to say words. They're just words. Like sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. What happened to that? We used to chant that as kids. Now the world's gone soft because we're not allowed to have proper discourse. Why? It's absolutely insane. Max amount of Bitcoin you would leave in the Coinbase wallet? None. That depends. I don't know what your financial situation is. I guess if you're leaving money on an exchange because you want it to, and when I say money, Bitcoin, when you're leaving that Bitcoin on the exchange and you don't want to move it across so that you don't spend a whole lot in fees, don't leave more than what you're willing to lose of cash in your wallet. If you're not willing to lose it, if it'd hurt you, if you're not going to sleep easy at night, that's too much on the exchange. Couple of hundred, couple of thousand, maybe. Yeah, I don't know what your situation is. Other people are couple with multiple six figures on there, but if it's on the exchange, it's not yours. You don't own it. It's not you. Hopefully you get it. Whatever that number is to you, that's the most, but less is best. I visited the Banksy flower thrower art when I was in Palestine a few years back, stayed overnight in the Waldorf Hotel. Cool. Katie, that's so epic. I want to check that out. What actually happens? Don't know. They just got an email and they couldn't get into their account. Maybe Banksy is Satoshi Nakamoto, Bystack, and come on, man. You know the thing. Chill. For everyone tuning in, please free Simply Bitcoin. Repost, tag YouTube, send the signal. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. If we vibe, we will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, we're back in the proper studio Wednesday. We'll see what proof of work I come up with today. Be you, change the world, stack Bitcoin, get it off the exchange today. Be self-sovereign, keep fighting for freedom, be blessed. Peace.
Everything seemed normal. Successful businesses were functioning as they usually should. Money was being placed in the bank as savings. Life was good. Nobody notices anything funny. But 2008 hits and all hell breaks loose. Everything we thought about money and the banking was a complete lie, a complete sham, a Ponzi, a scam. The whole world fell apart and a lot of people got hurt financially. And as a result of this, the Bitcoin white paper was born. But yet the same mistakes keep happening over and over again. People are leaving money on their institutions up until the last straw, FTX, when billions of dollars were lost, families were decimated, life savings were completely wiped, and people were wondering what on earth just happened. We have an option to take full custody of our funds, and that's Bitcoin. We just have to learn the process. It's not hard. It's just something we've never had to do before. Otherwise, the same mistakes are going to keep repeating themselves, and people are going to continue to get hurt over and over and over until they learn you need to exit the system in order to protect yourselves and your loved ones.